Sex. Sex. All the free sex you want.
They'll roll their eyes and they'll be like, oh, that's just an excuse for hooking up.
I could never do that.
People who do it are just fucking around.
Everyone assumes that this is just about sex. This is just a way to get more sex.
You're viewed as like a slut, you're very promiscuous.
You just haven't found the right person.
You must have had a threesome.
You're not serious about love.
Or you must have a really high sex drive.
Oh, you know, I'm sure you'll grow out of this when you meet the right person.
We're constantly on the prowl for other people.
People will ask me like, are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? I'm like, well, actually I have two.
Just be excited for me. Can you just be excited for me?
It's not cheating if you have permission. ENM stands for ethically non-monogamous.
Which is just a very fancy way of saying open relationship.
Ethical non-monogamy is just about open, honest communication.
Where all parties are happy to open up their relationship and there's consensual non-exclusivity. There tends to be a bit of a stigma that if someone opens up their relationship, they must not be happy in that relationship.
Maybe we were tired or bored of each other, so we had to go outside the relationship to look for something else, to spice it up.
To save the relationship.
And that could not be further from the truth.
I'm going to describe to you what E&M looks like using marshmallows and these sticks as our relationships together. This is me and this is a partner and this is another partner and this is more partners. But sometimes in E&M you find yourself having partners that interact with each other as well.
Our relationship is fairly new. We're just seeing each other to build that kind of foundation first. And then in the future, we could possibly have different dynamics, who knows?
This is the relationship I'm in, and that is a V, where I have two partners and they're on equal footing. There's no hierarchy and things obviously branch out from there.
We're smushed together.
Oh, look how in love they are. And I'll do nice sexy lady. Maybe this is a sexy lady who likes both Robin and Chris.
And if anyone else wants to join in, they can.
We have an incredible relationship. We have amazing sex. I hope his mum doesn't watch this. And it's great and it's wonderful and I trust him so much and I think he is so good in bed that I want to share that with the world.
So I've been married.
I got out of a really, really big 5-year relationship.
After my divorce and my separation,
I decided that I wanted to explore my sexuality more.
I realized at a younger age, you know, just watching my parents, that monogamy wasn't really for me. Like the traditional type of monogamy wasn't for me because I just knew that I didn't want to be like my parents.
Some people don't actually realize what they're doing is ethical non-monogamy.
Without even having understood what this term was, is how I've lived most of my adult life. My life is very on the move, and I feel like that really accommodates to my lifestyle. So it's really hard for me to maintain kind of like a serious monogamy relationship.
During the lockdown, my partner and I, we were spending a lot of time together and we kind of just looked at each other and thought, we're not going to be hot and young forever. Why not explore E&M?
It was actually Chris, my partner, who said, you know, if you want to sleep with other women because I'm bi, he was like, that's fine. And I kind of realized then, I was like, do you know what? I think I actually wouldn't mind if you slept with other women either.
Polyamory is a form of E&M. People that aren't familiar with it can confuse it as the same thing. Polyamory explicitly means that I look for more than one romantic relationship.
In ethical non-monogamy, there's romance, there's passion, but you're not in a relationship with that person.
I identify as polyamorous because I am less looking for casual connections and more looking for relationships.
open relationships gets you in bed, but poly relationships gets you breakfast in bed.
I like to highlight the ethical side. I just like to be nice and clear right there so people don't get confused, don't get it wrong.
The ethical part of ethical non-monogamy, sometimes it's not always done ethically. I've seen people who don't always communicate to another partner of who else they're seeing or how connected they are to other people.
I don't sleep with a partner until they know that I actively see other people.
You have to have the conversations about jealousy and boundaries and everything like that maybe you wouldn't have for months and months and months into a monogamous relationship.
One of our rules is don't fuck your friends.
I don't tell my other partners that I'm going on dates. I don't feel the need to, I guess, ask their permission or give them a heads up.
Well, if I was out at a bar and I kind of met somebody and I was vibing with them, should be totally fine if I hooked up with the person. But in terms of starting a relationship with someone else, that's probably not something that we'd want to pursue.
It's if the opportunity knocks, I guess we say we're open.
Regular STD testing, 100%.
One guy that I slept with, things are getting hot and heated, and I was like, wait, when was the last time you got tested? I'm so anal about this, like, pardon the pun. And I grilled him about it while I was on top of him, and we were both naked.
The maximum amount of people I've ever had on the go is a whopping 2.
I've tried dating 3 people before and I was just spread too thin.
So that was Chris and someone else.
3, which is a lot for me.
4 would be my maximum.
Maybe 5.
Probably a 5.
6 or 7.
I can manage that for sure.
Sorry if you're watching this, Dad.
I deal with the scheduling of everyone by having a calendar.
It's sometimes hard to juggle.
Something I've actually talked about with partners is like, maybe we need to all share our calendars so we can see when we're free.
I have everything in my calendar. Can't live without it.
I write it in because I don't want to double book myself.
Every 2 to 3 weeks, I saw each one of them.
When you're seeing 6 or 7 people, you're not seeing them all on like a super regular basis.
I have autism, so like routine's very important for me. One of my partners, we have a regular date. My other partner isn't so fussed about that.
I was working in retail. A lot of the people I was dating worked on different floors. I mean, when you work on different floors, you don't run into each other.
Just recently had an experience where I double booked myself. Then I tried to do things right by both of them by spending like half my time with each, and I ended up disappointing both of them.
Not gonna lie, it is a lot of hard work. I definitely have moments where I'm like, how am I doing this?
Even the other night, I had a date lined up and then their family was coming over, so I couldn't go and see them and they couldn't come see me. I'm like, all right, what's next? What's next? Everyone has urges, so yeah, there's a bit of a list.
I do get jealous. The fear of being replaced is very real. I think that's where jealousy stems from.
I've never been that much of a jealous person.
Jealousy is obviously a whole thing when you are opening your relationship up and you see your partner flirting with other people. Even then, you know, I don't know, I just didn't get jealous. I was just like, this is fun.
I am always interested in listening to my partners talk about their other sexual adventures. I find it quite relaxing, actually.
Knowing that I've been polyamorous since I was 16, as jealousy would come up, I kind of learnt how to deal with that from quite young.
Jealousy is a normal reaction, and while I'm completely happy for my partner to go and have sex with someone else, I don't actually like seeing them being affectionate. I think that's probably something that I'm still working with.
Jealousy is always going to pop its head up, and for me, jealousy is something that I have to personally deal with.
I think if you are feeling jealous, that's completely natural, and everyone goes through kind of phases of feeling secure and feeling insecure and closing up the relationship and opening up the relationship.
I thrive on human connection and I thrive on seeing others experience human connection. So instead of being jealous if my partner's got a really cool connection with someone else, I'm just stoked for them.
I don't think you could really class yourself as ethically non-monogamous if you were jealous.
I always found it easier to come out as pansexual than I found it to come out as polyamorous or ethically non-monogamous.
I do not have that I'm E&M on any of my dating bio, and the reason for that is because I don't want to be slut-shamed.
I think it's important to state that I am polyamorous because I don't want to lead people on.
I actually deliberately had the polyamory tattoo on my hand here because I wanted that to be the first thing people see when they see me.
And I started noticing that Hinge added the prompts where they were encouraging people to say, do you want monogamy or do you not want monogamy? And that was more around the time where it felt like a bit more of a formalized coming out process.
Polyamory or E&M is something that's still pretty hard to talk about, especially to your
families,
parents.
definitely. Being POC, you do grow up in a traditional household where you do have those set standards. It is harder to break away because it's really ingrained in you since you were a kid. So that's why I broke away, is to have that freedom, I guess.
I'm pretty open about it with my co-workers and my friends. There's no judgment there from them at all.
I mean, I'm not open at all with my colleagues about being in an ethically non-monogamous relationship. It's really none of their business.
One of my partners at the moment, she's married and has kids, and so she's a lot less open about that because she doesn't want to be judged as a mother.
Because we live in a very heterosexual, monogamous society, it's taboo because it strays from the status quo a little bit. My mum has known that I'm dating a couple for a while now. She's stoked about it. My partners have actually met my mum, which was a big step for us.
I definitely am fine with talking to my mum about it. My mum's mantra is just like, as long as you're happy, then I'm happy.
My dad and stepmom don't know yet. I'll definitely tell them the next time I see them. So if you're watching this, surprise, I'm in a throuple.
This will be our coming out to a lot of people on TV.
I can guarantee you'll definitely know people that are secretly involved in E&M without you actually knowing.
They don't end like traditional monogamous relationships. You guys break up. You don't talk about it. You just kind of disappear. One day you just kind of stop banging.
My partners and I have joked about this. For me, if I broke up with them, it's accentuated double. If they break up with me, it's double the emotional weight. Again, being broken up with by two people.
The potential ripple effects of breakups is definitely a real thing. The first time I experienced that, it was really heavy. I've been seeing someone for a long time. When they broke up with one of their other partners, I could feel them being more distant with me.
A woman I was dating, she broke up with me by text message, which I found very hurtful. And my nesting partner, she was like, oh my God, nobody dumps my boyfriend by text message.
I personally don't believe that you are meant to be with one person for the rest of your life.
In the wild, there are animals that stay together for life, and then there's animals that don't. So I think it's different for everyone.
I personally think that non-monogamy has been happening for a long time and in different cultures as well. But I think the key difference is that now women have more of a say in what they want in relationships. It's often just been taken for granted that men might see other women or have mistresses or...
Exactly. Why do men all have all the fun?
Excuse me, I want that too.
I definitely have been in a monogamous relationship before. It was such a beautiful relationship and I have no regrets, but I think going forward, I don't think I could be entirely monogamous, maybe ever again.
I would definitely say in all relationships, there is at least one point in your relationship where you think, wow, I could really sleep with someone else right now, just for funsies, just for something different. I think even if you don't act on those feelings, you've definitely had them. And if you say that you haven't, you're lying. You're a liar.
I'm pretty sure that I don't want children, at least for me biologically. Say if my partner's had a kid, which they want to, there's every chance that I could be a parent by proxy, and that would be perfect for me.
I do want to be a mother one day. I do want to be a parent. So I do see myself continuing E&M with a family.
I was in a relationship with someone who had kids a few years ago, and she said the thing she hated the most was people saying like, oh, you're polyamorous, but what about your children? And she's like, well, what about my children? My children are happy. They grow up in a household where they can see that, you know, everyone loves one another and that we have a healthy, open relationship where we can communicate well and all our needs are being met. And I actually met these kids and they grew up thinking this was completely normal, which I think is a great thing. Realize that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn some things the hard way. There's going to be a bit of trial and error about what works for you and what's going to make everyone happy. It's normal to go through that.
So my advice for someone that's newly getting into E&M, especially if you're in a relationship, bring it up with your partner and discuss boundaries and how you're feeling at all times. Keep it an open conversation, and it does get a lot easier the more you talk about it.
If you're like fighting and you're like having a dysfunctional relationship, you need a stable base to build E&M and polyamory on top of.
It's worth it because I get to love multiple different people, and I know that it's difficult to expect so much things off one person.
You'll never have the same dynamic with another person. Everyone is completely unique.
Yeah.
I love that I can be myself. I love that I can experience multiple people. It's not a one person to fulfill the emotional or sexual desires that I might have. I get a piece of everyone. It's great.
It takes a little bit more work, but it's the only way that I can imagine living my life. Sure, you might meet the love of your life, but what if you met another one?
Maybe there's some symbolism here that it's leaving some residue behind.